French police have arrested 8 people connected to the driver of the truck in the Nice attack. Our correspondent Elena Casas joins us now from Nice with more on the ongoing investigation. Elena, multiple arrests in connection to that truck driver. What details do we know at this point?
Well, there are 6 people in custody at the moment, as far as we understand, all fairly close to the attacker, Mohamed Laouedj Boulel. His ex-wife, who was arrested on Friday morning, was released yesterday morning. Police obviously concluded she had no useful information about his planning the attack. We don't know, though, who is in custody or what exactly they are suspected of. We did hear that yesterday an Albanian couple were arrested who the police believe may have provided logistical support to the attacker. But exactly what nature that support was, we don't yet know. Police are being very close to their chests with this information. Essentially, we don't know if he acted entirely alone or if this is a case of a network that existed and that planned this attack. We do know that he seems to have premeditated it. There are CCTV images of his coming to the Promenade des Anglais, to the place where those 84 people were killed the day before and the day before that, to scope out the site of his crime. We know that he planned to rent the truck that he used to kill those 84 people on the 4th of July, that is 10 days in advance. So he does seem to have planned this a certain amount of time in advance. Whether he actually plotted it with any other people who were actually aware of it, that's what we don't know. This attack has, of course, been claimed by ISIL, and the French government has indeed described it as a new strategy on the part of ISIL, using individuals rather than organised networks. But they've yet to provide any evidence he actually was in touch with any terrorist group. And they do say that if he was radicalised, it certainly was very quickly, because although he was known to the police for various petty thefts, violent crimes and so on, he had not been picked up on the radar of any of the French intelligence services, and indeed those close to him have said he was not religious, and as recently as last week they saw him drinking and smoking during Ramadan.
Elena, that truck attack has not just rocked France, but has sent chills to much of Europe. What we do see now is that security has been beefed up across France after the attack. How about in its neighboring countries?
Well, we know that Germany, Italy and Spain have introduced enhanced border checks on their borders with France. Not, of course, that would have done anything to prevent this type of attack. He was a local man living here in Nice. He was of Tunisian nationality but had lived legally in France for many years. So this isn't really a question of immigration or something that could have been prevented with more enhanced border checks, or indeed with more enhanced surveillance either. Let's bear in mind, security services had not picked up this man for any reason. He hadn't done anything that would have brought him onto their radar. So, of course, the question of who can keep France safe and why they seem to keep failing to do so has become highly political here. We're just a year out from a presidential election, which is likely to be fought very much on this ground of how to stop this series of attacks that are happening here in France. People like the centre-right presidential candidate and former President Nicolas Sarkozy have wasted no time in criticising the government for allowing this to happen. Sarkozy, for example, thinks that everyone who's come across the intelligence services radar in recent months should be traced with an electronic bracelet to track them. But let's bear in mind that this happened despite the highest possible security measures already being in place, despite France being under a state of emergency with soldiers and armed police on the streets across the country. And so it does seem to be, as the Prime Minister Manuel Valls has said, that this is a level of terrorism, an individual who had come across nobody's radar, that would be very difficult for any security measures to prevent.
CCTV's Elena Casas live for us in Nice. Elena, thank you.